we want you to take seriously, if you want to. We want you to take seriously, if you want to. We want you to take seriously whether you want to or not. The existence of this vortex. And it is our desire that you develop not just a keen awareness of the existence of this pure positive energy, expanded, frisky version of you, but that you are in conscious awareness of your proximity to it. Because when you become consciously aware of whether you are up to speed, which means no resistance, or out of alignment, which means some resistance, when you have conscious awareness of where you are in relationship to your vortex, now, under any and all conditions, life is really fun. Because you see, there's no risk. You can't get far enough away from it for it to ever really be a risk, as long as you know about the existence of it and you know what to do. So many of you, have you ever known anyone who has done anything risky? Have you ever known a wire walker? We've known all of them. And they're not as crazy as they seem. It seems like they're taking risks as you see them fall into the canyon. It seems like they're taking a risk. But what they're really reaching for is an expanded version of their stability and their power. In other words, you come forth wanting to expand. And we just want to say to you that the only risk that humans could ever experience is the risk of trying to hold back expansion that is inevitable. In other words, you just got to decide that you're going to just naturally go with the flow of your expansion, and which means if you're going to go with the flow of your expansion, because you are expanding, you can't stop it. Because you can't stop thinking, you can't stop contrast, you can't stop exposure to life, you can't discontinue launching these rockets of desire. You can't hold your vortex back. You can't stop it. But you can stubbornly hold to thoughts or beliefs. A belief is only a thought you keep thinking. It's just a pattern of thought. You can hold to beliefs that don't let you go with the flow of your expansion, and then you feel the discord of that. And so sometimes you get your expansion moving faster than your ability or willingness to keep up with it. And that's when things sort of begin to bog down. But the good news is, when that happens, more rockets of desires are launched within you. So there really is no way that you can get it wrong. That's why we like to say to you, you can't get it done, and you can't get it wrong. And the reason that you can't get it wrong is because it's never done. So now, no matter how uncomfortable or wrong it may seem in any moment, it's not done. The vortex flourished more in what you consider to be the wrongness, you see. Because in a problem situation, there is a solution that is formed. In a question situation, there is an answer that is formed. So when you have knowledge of the existence of the vortex, which holds the answers and the solutions, and you know how to apply the tools of alignment, then you begin to live the robust, eager, good-feeling life that you were born to live. Not guarding yourself against any possible eventuality that might give you negative emotion, but embracing the idea of a life that is full enough that it's going to give you plenty to ask for, and you utilizing your knowledge to come into alignment. In other words, have you ever really reached for something and accomplished it, and haven't you found that the level of satisfaction was huge in comparison for reaching for something that you didn't care very much about? When you sort of kind of want something, when it sort of kind of comes, you're sort of kind of glad. But when you really, 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 really want something, and you really, 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 really do want things, especially when you're really, 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 really not living them, there is a freshness to life in that contrasting resistance sort of tug of war that's going on within you. But there's never a risk in that, because the fact that you have really, 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 really want it means your energy is moving really, 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 really fast. And when you figure out how to really, really, really let go of the resistance that's really, really, really holding you back, then you'll really, 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 really go, and you'll feel really, 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 really good. And you'll say, that's why I came. That's why I came. And if you could remember that, then everything that you're living would be an adventure. There would be no feeling of, oh, I've failed, or oh, I've missed the boat on something, or oh, this is taking too long. Then you step into those shoes that you understand as someone who seeks adventure. Here you are. Do you know, you're out in the middle of the water. Did you know? Seeking adventure. This is the high adventure here. What fun. Here you are, holed up with somebody who's going to cook all your meals. That's adventure. With a lot of people you don't even know, held captive on this barge. In other words, you're very brave. You've come on this adventure. In other words, it's certainly not the norm. You're certainly not in your comfort zone. You packed your bags and brought almost everything you intended to. And you got on an airplane and met 25% of your schedules. And you came through that long line and got on the ship and trusted other people to take your things that was your existence for the next few days. And most of it showed up. In other words, you're having an adventure, and the reason that you're up for it, here you come to a gathering where you interact with this situation where this man calls his wife Abraham. That's an adventure. And you know that she must be schizophrenic because she refers to herself as we. And continually draws this big circle in the air, points over there, calls it a vortex and tells you should go in. We think you're ready for an adventure. In other words, we think that you are up for another way of looking at life. And it is our promise to you that as you take these conceptual laws that we promise you are our absolute knowing of how the universe works and what it's all about and who you are and how you fit into this and what contribution you are making and the expansion that is happening. And as you begin to deliberately apply some of the things that you are coming to know so that you can show yourself that when you come into alignment, thought by thought, by thought, by thought, by thought, with the thought that the source within you thinks, and you fill up with the fullness of who you are, and you taste in these sometimes infrequent and then more frequent until it becomes a chronic state of being where you're tuned into who you really are, then that feeling of high adventure has just a feeling of exhilaration. It's a feeling of passion. No feeling of risk. No feeling of something going wrong. Just this feeling that I am alive and I was born to feel like this. And indeed, you are. So, we're eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. Nothing is off limits. We think you have gathered, as you've been listening to us so far, that it is our desire to help you to recognize the existence of the vortex and to call you in the direction of it. We have the wonderful perspective of knowing who you are and knowing how it's all turning out for you. In other words, when you stand in the vortex, you have clear view, not only of what you would call outcomes, and it sounds future to you because you're still waiting for the manifestation, so it's still coming out into full view.